Hi folks, and welcome back to another edition of Grizz Tracks. We have a whole new season here for you. Fall camp has just opened this week, and the Grizzlies are back on the field, which means it is football season. Bill, you've been out there a few days now. What have you seen? How are they looking?
Well, I think they look pretty focused. First of all, they came in. They had a couple of months where they've been working together. A lot of the players have been doing drills on their own. They have a system where the offensive coordinator, Kefense Hinson, and defensive coordinator, Ty Gregory, kind of make a little agenda for them, and that's what they've been following. And they do look prepared coming into practice this week.
Yeah, and finally all on the field again together for the first time since this spring, and the first time getting ready for a game since back then against Coastal Carolina and that bit of a slip-up in the playoffs. I'm sure they're ready to get that out of their minds and focus on this season. Let's address a little bit of the things coming back from that team into this season. What do we have returning?
Well, and you mentioned the Coastal Carolina game. They still remember that, and a lot of the veterans are using it as motivation to get ready. They certainly have some talented veterans on both sides of the ball. You start with offensively with the quarterback, Jordan Johnson, the running back, Jordan Canada, and wide receiver in Ellis Henderson.
A lot of skill players returning. Should be pretty dangerous on offense if all of those guys can continue to do what they were doing.
Definitely, and one question mark early is Ellis Henderson has been sitting out the real strenuous part of practice for 2 days with it's kind of a non-football medical issue. I think he'll be okay, but you hate to see him miss conditioning at this part in the season.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of injuries, a couple guys on the offensive line banged up. They're trying to fill some holes there. Anyway, that's got to be one of the big question marks at this point in the season.
Most definitely. They're young, and Coach Delaney admits that it's going to take some time for them to gel together. But he's optimistic. I think it's a tough opener at Wyoming on August 30th. But if there was ever a time to play them, it would be then. They've got they've got a new coach, new quarterback, and a lot of new pieces. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, they're playing Wyoming right away on the road, and then North Dakota State not too long after that, who is actually their coach, was and now is the coach of Wyoming, right?
Right, and I guess the nice thing about that is after they play Wyoming, then they get to come home and they play Central Washington. It won't be easy, but it's a little bit better than
a little bit of a breather in between those two.
Right, and then they play South Dakota, which won't be easy. I know Joe Glenn, the former Grizz coach, would love to beat Montana here in Missoula, and then the trip to Fargo for North Dakota State.
Yeah, and a pretty nasty schedule all around this year for the Grizzlies. I mean, a lot of exciting games, but I mean, no gimme wins this year either.
Most definitely, AJ. In fact, I think they can be as good as last year, 10-3, but matching that record will be tough. They have so many tough conference games on the road. You talk about Eastern Washington and Southern Utah are at the top of the list.
Yeah. On the defensive side of the ball, a lot of big linebackers gone, and a couple of them in NFL camps now this fall as well. So there's a few guys they need to replace. What else are we looking at on the defensive side?
Well, as you mentioned, the linebackers, they'll be looking to Jeremiah Kosei to play middle linebacker. He's been injured his last 2 seasons with ACLs, so he's kind of taking it easy in practice. He's participating, but he's sitting out certain drills. And then they've got Kendrick Van Akkeren, and he's going to play one linebacker spot, and then the other one is Herbert Gamboa, who is one of the faster guys on the team, and he's been the most impressive so far at linebacker. In the secondary, they've got a couple of newcomers, but guys that have played.
Quite a few guys in that secondary are returning.
Right, definitely.
Hermanson, mainly.
Yeah, definitely Matt Hermanson is the leader back there, the leading tackler for the defense coming back. And then you've got Nate Harris, who had a couple of great plays this week, forcing fumbles. And then you'll fit in Josh Denard is a solid cornerback with experience. And then probably Justin Whitted at the other safety.
Yeah. And we got about 3 weeks now until the actual season kicks off with that game in Wyoming, which means hopefully a little bit of time for some of these guys to get healthy before the action really gets underway. And check back for Grizz Tracks every Thursday evening. We'll have a video for you, and follow the Missoulian online and in print for the latest Grizz coverage throughout the season. And thanks for tuning in again for us for a new season.